2024 promises to be eventful with a contentious U.S. election this fall, a looming recession according to many economists, Gen AI quickly shaping the landscape of how we work, and now stock reaching an all-time high. Well, I couldn't think of anybody better to be in conversation with than my next guest. Welcome to 100 Days of Service Now. I'm Kylie Alexander. We're at the top of Q1 in 2024, and I wanted to talk to Michael Lombardo, CEO and founder of GlideFast Consulting. Mike, welcome to the stream.
Let's go. Drop the horns.
All right. Okay, everybody, if you are joining me live, I want you to drop some megaphones, some air horns, some blue hearts in the chat. And if you're joining me on the replay, I love you too. Drop hashtag replay squad in the chat. Okay, Mike, we got a lot to get into. Listen, let me calm myself down because we had a great discussion on the Knowledge 4 of May 2023, Knowledge 23, electrifying conversation and electrifying environment. And I really wanted to ask you some key questions at the very top of the year and perhaps even have you back to see how those predictions are coming along. So just 4 years ago, we were in a pandemic. And given the world's changed circumstances, I'm curious, what is your perspective on the future of ServiceNow growth and relevance?
Great question. I mean, I think it's been proven time and time again, and we're going to see more of it, that ServiceNow is the defining software for this century, right? It's truly exciting to see in good times, ServiceNow takes off. And in tough times, ServiceNow takes off. When there are layoffs, unfortunately, or there is a recession, or there is economic challenges, ServiceNow is the software that steps up to the plate and helps companies get through those tough times, right? Helps support employees, helps support customers, helps support operations. And there's no other software platform that can do that. So especially at the speed. So you have the speed of implementation and innovation, but you also have the mechanics and the capability to support all these organizations. So as much as I don't want to see the bad times and the recession and anything like that, but if it is there, it's like my mother used to tell me, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Sure. And it's like either way. If we hope for the best, great things happen. Great, ServiceNow is going to do extremely well. And if things don't go quite as well, ServiceNow is still gonna be here.
Just recently, there's been a big acquisition that was announced. I was talking to Chad Woods, and he heads your go-to-market about the acquisition that recently has taken place. What are your predictions on how this will impact the ecosystem, and most importantly, ServiceNow customers?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think, talk about predictions. I think we'll probably see more acquisitions this year, a lot more. And it's really interesting because, you have to look at the motivations of these companies acquiring and being acquired, right? With GlideFast, we were acquired almost 2 years ago now. And, it's crazy because our culture got stronger. The morale got stronger, our business got better, our profitability got better, right? Like all aspects of our business improved. And that's because our motivations were different. Our motivations were not to exit, right? The founders weren't here to exit. The employees were not here to cash out, right? It was a strategic move to get involved with more customers. Apex Systems has 75% of the Fortune 1000 as existing customers and they were doing very little work in the ServiceNow world. So we were a strategic move for them, not in a position where they said, hey, we already do ServiceNow. You can just add to what we do. It's you are the ServiceNow delivery arm for Apex System for the customers that we already support in many other ways. So you have to really look at the motivations. I think the other partner you're talking about that was just acquired, they were really another partner that was built to be sold. Nothing wrong with that. great people. I know so many. I know the founders. I know so many of the consultants there as well. But their motivations were to build a company. They did it unbelievably relatively quick. I think in 2.5 years or something.
Wow.
Did a lot of acquisitions. I think they acquired like 8 companies, 6 to 8. Brought them together and then sold it and made a large profit. So and that's great, but that's not the intention of like a GlideFast. The GlideFast, we want to be the most dominant ServiceNow partner for the next 20 years, period. That's always been our mission. That'll always be our mission. So I think you won't see that company that was acquired. You probably won't see a lot of the same consultants there, a lot of the same leaders there, because the culture may not remain. And
Sure.
I think you're going to see that with a lot of the other acquisitions coming up too. A lot of the other acquisitions that will happen are similar companies. A lot of smaller companies that were acquired and combined. They're private equity owned, which means number one goal of private equity is to make a profit, right? Buy a company for $10 and sell it for 30, right? I think that's so it's not it's the motivations behind the acquisitions that'll tell you the future. Is it still founder led? Is the founder still being involved? Is the founder going to be there to protect the culture, to hold the trust with ServiceNow? A lot, like, we've seen over the years, we've seen so many partners be leaders of this space, and then after acquisition just crumble, and just the brand disappears, the people disappear, and you forget their name. Some of the leaders from even just a few years ago, new customers don't even know their name.
When did the Apex GlideFast partnership take place? Was that in 22 or 21?
21.
So that was in
April or June 2021.
June 2021. You're still
Yeah.
here and it's 2024 January, because you easily
Yeah.
could have been like, I did that
Yeah.
and be gone, right?
Yeah.
But you decided
Yep.
to stick around. You also mentioned culture. Just
Yes.
finished reading for the second time. Well, this time it was a listen to Bill McDermott, chairman of ServiceNow and CEO, his memoir, Winner's Dream. And I actually posted a quote from his book this past weekend, that quote being, strategy eats, culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Yes.
Culture is really important to you, and you've been
100%.
here since the acquisition of 2021, still here 2024. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about the culture at GlideFast and why that's such a key distinguishing factor from other partners?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing about culture is knowing you're supported, right? When
Yeah.
you're on an island, first of all, we're doing very difficult projects, right? These are challenging. We're digitally transforming the largest companies on earth, and a lot of these processes we're changing are dozens of years old. And the bigger the ship, the harder it is to move, right? The thing that's really special about the GlideFast culture is every single person here knows that every other person at GlideFast is there to support them.
Yeah.
So, I've seen a lot of our consultants who have left that came back. I always ask them, like, what, first of all, like, I know why you left because we had that conversation, but why'd you come back? And I'll tell you, probably more than half of them say, where I was, I'd be asking a question. I wouldn't get any support. It was a very, selfish culture of just like, me, how do I get to the next level? At GlideFast, we just built something so incredible where people are just, they're putting others around them first. That's the Ubuntu culture of putting the person next to you ahead of your own needs. And then guess what? When you need something, there's 5, 6, 7, 8 people right there with their hand down trying to help you up. So,
Absolutely.
that is the core of our culture. And then if you sprinkle in like the level of expertise we have, the high standards, the high work ethic, and that starts with me. If I was leading this company and I'm, people see me on Instagram at the beach, and I might party a little bit, but that's on the weekends, right? If people see me working as hard, see me traveling to customer sites,
Yeah.
It inspires, other people to work hard, and same thing when you look left and right, right? So it's truly special, truly unique. To your other point about me still being here, that's what keeps me motivated. I know there's people counting on me. I know, obviously I'm counting on a lot of people, and, we're not letting each other down. And that's what keeps me so excited.
Just this past week, Insider shared with me that an elite partner in the IT consulting space laid off hundreds of their employees and are shifting away from new projects and implementation work toward managed services and
Yeah.
outsourcing a lot of that work overseas. I'm curious because no doubt these are challenging times for many
Yep.
folks in the ecosystem. What is your perspective on the current state of the partner ecosystem with regards to
Yeah.
this? And do you think it will evolve in the coming months and years?
That's a great question. Again, you have to look at the motivations of these different companies, because some of these partners, ServiceNow is just one little line item or one little service that they offer, right? Out of all these other services. So it's not as strategic or not as important as it is for like a GlideFast. GlideFast, we are all the way in on ServiceNow. We only focus on implementing ServiceNow. If we had a whole scale of solutions, and we're having trouble retaining the top talent needed to implement these projects, if another partner is upsetting a customer that spends hundreds or tens of millions of dollars on a different aspect of our business, on an offering that we provide, and the ServiceNow offering is dragging is not going as well, and it's hurting our reputation with that customer, and potentially hurting that tens of millions of dollars. I would say it's ServiceNow is not important either, right? So you really have to you have to follow the money on a lot of these different companies, because for GlideFast, ServiceNow is it. And a
Sure.
lot of these other companies, for the VARs, the value added resellers,
Hmm.
ServiceNow is just one little thing. So yeah, so I think it's funny because you have just like probably four different categories. You have the super large, the big four, who are, ServiceNow is very strategic for them. They've grown, and I think Bill McDermott's done a really good job of getting those big four partners, more involved in ServiceNow and committed to ServiceNow. But again, they do have tons of other product lines and revenue streams. And then you have, your VARs, and we just talked about them, that, if ServiceNow is not taken off, they don't care as much about culture and as much about the ServiceNow kind of culture and morale. They're not going to retain that top talent. It's going and those projects are not going to go well, and it's just going to hurt them in other lines of business. So they're not going to invest as much. And you have your GlideFast tier, and our competitors are more private equity owned, like I said earlier, and really just looking for that exit. And then you just go downhill to low cost offshoring, or smaller niche partners. And so, obviously maybe I'm a little biased, but I really feel like GlideFast is just in a league of our own, because we do have the most expertise. We don't have to worry about any other surprises or events like acquisitions or any pressure there. We survived an acquisition I don't think any other partner really has at our scale, for sure. So it's just really exciting, and that's another reason what keeps me going and keeps me motivated is the opportunity. We've been in business 9 years now, and it's always been a punch up, an uphill battle to get respect, to get large customers, to increase business. And we're finally kind of at the point where we're looking around, and the other partners are really not on our level, it feels like. Again, definitely biased. I
You
obviously love
think?
GlideFast, but it's exciting. It's
Well,
exciting.
perhaps biased for good reason. And I want to talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about offshore because recently, and when I say recently, maybe past couple years, please correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong here,
Yep.
you've
Yep.
built a pretty strong team in India.
Amazing team. Amazing team.
An
Yeah.
amazing team. How is
Yep.
GlideFast doing that differently?
Absolutely. Great question. Because, I think typically by the way, I was one of these people who viewed offshore. I always thought offshore was like a way just to cut costs and that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to build just like to drop in quality just to save a couple dollars. So, we actually started our offshore because one of our largest customers wanted to continue working with us, wanted to expand their portfolio of operations with us, but they said, "Hey, these other companies have offshore. It helps with the cost. Would you be willing to expand there?" And fortunately, we said absolutely, but we're going to do it the GlideFast way. We're not going to do it just to cut costs or just hire anybody that with a low bill rate. We want the same level of quality and expertise that we have in the rest of the world. And fortunately, we just have such a great leader over there, RJ, and he saw the same vision of us. We're not doing this for low cost. We're not going to treat that team any different than we would any other team member here at GlideFast. We have the same level of expectations of hard work and in Ubuntu supporting each other. And it's worked out. I mean, I say it, we're over 100 people there. I say we have the best ServiceNow team in India. I still believe it. I hear horror stories about other partners and their offshore teams and just the lack of quality. And I hear just nothing but the complete opposite and see it firsthand
Yeah.
with GlideFast of just pure excellence of delivery. So
It was
it's really
really
exciting.
great seeing all of the pictures from GlideFast India, and
Yep.
that is
Yep.
the team wide, all hands kind of a powwow meeting, good
Event. Yeah.
time,
Yeah. Yeah.
retreat.
Retreat.
Yeah, there we
Retreat.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Retreat.
Yeah.
It was really great to see all of those wonderful pictures from Glide Fest, and I'm looking forward to seeing more to come in 2024. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what's to come with Glide Fest in 2024?
Oh,
No one's listening. You can tell me.
oh, oh. Well, first, let's just quickly talk about what GlideFest is. So we do
Okay.
GlideFest. We did our second annual GlideFest just this past May in 2023 in the U.S., and that was over 400, I think 400 of employees gathering together. We were all at Knowledge. I think it was a 3-day event. We did sessions, learning different aspects of the platform, obviously having fun. We threw a crazy party, and just again, increasing morale, increasing the culture, increasing our expertise. Getting better, leveling up. We also did the same thing in India in November. So talk about investing in our offshore. I mean, we did a 3-day retreat over there. For just because of the time difference, there's no way we can kind of cross over the
Sure.
travel for the two events. So, and just hearing, I dialed in and did a little speech and answered some Q&A, but just to hear some of the consultants over there just thanking us, like, you don't understand, like, other companies do not invest or care or treat offshore consulting like GlideFast does, and we just want to thank us. And it gives you the chills, right? It gives you the
Yeah.
goosebumps, and it just again remotivates you to just want to do well for our customers and in our team members. But this year,
But
I
this
don't know.
year,
I don't know. I don't know.
anything? No. Okay. Everybody mute.
Yeah,
Everybody on mute. Go ahead,
okay,
Mike.
I'll
Just me
say
and
this.
you.
We're definitely having GlideFest. GlideFest is definitely happening.
Okay.
It will be an in-person event. It's not going to be in Vegas.
Okay.
There was an overwhelming majority that did not want. Surprising. I don't know. I still can't figure out why everyone doesn't want to go to Vegas, but not everybody, I guess, wants that fast party kind of craziness. You know what it is? People really enjoyed the in 2022. We did it in Montana, middle of
Mm,
nowhere, big sky resort, and that was so cool because there was no distractions, right? Like, we
yeah.
were hanging out together. There were so many laughs. There were so many, so much bonding. And I think that's what it is, that, people like, forget about Vegas. Like, I don't care about the party. And I want to hang out with with the person who lives in California, right? Like the person I get to just hang out with on Slack and Zoom, you know?
Sure, sure. Good times. Okay, well, in case you want to come back and make some announcements, you know where to find me.
Maybe we'll make the announcement here. Maybe we'll
There
make
we
the announcement.
go. There we go.
There's,
I love
there's
that
definitely some
idea.
conspiracy theories. There's definitely some people want to go to Canada, people want to go to Hawaii, but I'll tell you what, Hawaii is not happening.
Oh, okay, okay. There's other places. There's other great places. Okay, so I actually polled some folks from your organization, GlideFast, and Robert Geen, one of your service delivery directors, I believe, and ITOM architect. Robert, correct me if I'm wrong here. Here's his question. My question for Lombardo: with much,
Uh-oh.
you said, uh-oh. With much of the push being on AI this year, which product line area of the platform do you foresee having the greatest benefit from it?
Hey, Tom, come on, come on. Wait, you say with Gen AI?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's going to do so much for the core platform. I think really in the customer support aspect. So really on CSM, like with virtual agent, knowledge searching and case deflection. Like I think people are truly underestimating the case deflection that's going to happen here. Unfortunately, it may eliminate the need for, let's say, support agents or help desk agents, as many as them. But again, we're going to repurpose those jobs for more meaningful work, right? But I think case deflection is the biggest benefit that we're going to see in the most in that industry is probably going to be the most disrupted, or that role of just frontline tier one support.
You know,
And I think everyone's underestimating that.
sure. That reminds me. I want to ask you a question. Dave Wright, ServiceNow's Chief Innovation Officer, he published an
Mhm.
article early this week on January 15th. And this is a quote from that article. If the disruptive potential of AI became crystal clear in 2023, then 2024 will see tangible business impact,
Correct.
basically indicating that last year's AI stampede will give way to more purposeful strides. And those of you listening, I'll leave the link to that article if you're interested in reading it in its entirety. What are you looking forward to this year around Gen AI innovations that are coming out of the partner ecosystem? And how are you incorporating AI into GlideFast strategy?
Yeah, great question. And I just to comment on Dave Wright's quote there, I think last year was just the year of like, okay, this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone spent the year trying to figure out how to bring it into platforms and in everyday life like ServiceNow. Okay, now that this is a technology that, because everyone's been talking about AI for 10 years, but the technology really hasn't been there. So now that we have it, I think they spent the last 12 months, really trying to integrate it, right, and figure out where's the best places for this. I'm most excited about like I said, virtual agent, tier one support. I know like case summarization, I think is going to be big. So looking at a mass amount of records and being able to decipher, having AI decipher that and shorten it up and sweeten it up into here's two sentences on exactly what these thousands of incidents were and what the root cause is or potentially could be. So I'm just really excited to see it in practice, right? Like to actually see virtual agent automatically creating conversations, because before you had to manually set up, here's what I think somebody's going to say or ask, and here's what I want you to do with it. That's going to automatically get created. And
Sure.
now at GlideFast, GlideFast is we're using a little different way, right? I think a lot of people are saying, hey, we're the AI expert, and other partners are saying, hey, we're the AI experts, we'll help you implement it. We're not really going down that route right away. We're saying, hey, we're leveraging AI to further our business. So we created an unbelievable product called Agile Genius. Shout out Tyler. And that is basically an AI powered tool that helps us auto create workshop agendas, themes, epic stories. For those who follow me on LinkedIn, I'm sure you see me post it. We just posted a new video on that on our YouTube channel. It's really exciting. And that's just going to cut down clerical work, right? It's not going to replace people. It's not going to replace the business process consultant. A lot of conspiracy theorists, we rolled out this app. I'm sure there was some conspiracy theorists thinking, oh, this is going to replace jobs. Here we go. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to help us save time, help our customers save a little bit more money, and also focus on more meaningful work, right? So instead of spending that 20% of time, story grooming and clerical work and typing and clicking, it's going to pre-populate stories for us based on raw workshop notes, and then allow us to groom from there and allow us to have more meaningful conversations with our customers around refining and improving their processes. We're also using AI. We have 2 other products coming out for just internal use. So leveling up our consultant profiles, helping streamline our operations. And by the way, we run our entire business on ServiceNow. So it's all integrated in the platform. So we're adding our own AI on top of the platform. Sure. Because I think if we ask ServiceNow to build it, they'd charge us for it. So we'd rather just build it for free.
Sure. I just last week, I was in conversation with an economist at a well-known investment firm, and he was talking about the possible looming recession ahead. I like to shift gears a little bit and talk about what this means for organizations, what's at stake for organizations. For potential ServiceNow customers, a bear case would be to move cautiously, maintain operations as usual. What's at stake for customers that maintain current operations as usual or the status quo?
It depends what they do with the rates. I think if interest rates do get cut, I think we're going to see another kind of bull run, as they say. I think we're going to see the economy speed up. You're going to see the housing market improve. The car market's really interesting now with the high interest rates. But I do think, just the pain over the last couple of years, companies are making cuts. So I think there are cuts happening, at, the Fortune 500. We're seeing layoffs, we're seeing rifts. But that could be right sizing, because, and it is right sizing. I think, during COVID and the boom that we had, companies kind of were printing, the government was printing money. They were handing it out to companies. They were hiring like crazy. People moved remote, so I think a lot of it is, a lot of the rifts and the cuts we're seeing were needed, right? To, again, help these companies improve more efficient and operate more efficiently. I'm not as pessimistic really as I was. Even I was a little more worried early last year about the economy and stuff. I'm actually really optimistic about the future because we do have that power to just lower rates, and that speeds things way up.
Sure.
And makes room for more investment opportunity.
Sure. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about leadership. Next week, ServiceNow Sales Kickoff will be taking place in Las Vegas at the MGM Hotel. Interestingly enough, I was talking recently with Tori Salim, your senior vice president of sales, about strategic leadership. So I wanted to ask you about this and get your thoughts. In September of 23, the MGM witnessed a cyber attack. They were held, people were not able to do anything within the MGM. Everything was frozen. It caused a lot of disruption. Mm-hmm. The CEO took a position that was very unusual. He decided that he wasn't going to pay the ransom.
Yeah.
When that happened at Caesars, they paid the ransom. Everything got back on track. Now, this CEO decided that he was not going to pay the ransom and gradually got back access to all of the systems. I want to talk to you about leadership during challenging times. It ended up being a big win for him, that decision, right? I want to talk to you and ask you about leadership during challenging times. Can you talk about how you lead under pressure?
Yeah, I definitely had some challenging times. Starting a business 9 years ago with not any money really. We had no investor. We had no safety net. I had a little child at home, and me and my partner just said, "Hey, let's just try it." And we've had lots of challenges around making payroll and getting new customers and lawsuits and then
Yikes.
ultimately further on COVID, cancer. I had stage 4 cancer during COVID. That was the craziest year of my life, 2020, and that was through COVID and cancer same time, right? It was nuts. But for me,
Wow.
I've kind of always perform. I don't want to say perform better under pressure, but like, you know, when my back's against the wall, I have no choice but to push back. Right? You can either crawl up in a ball in the corner or you can push back. So sometimes, like, I think when I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. I'm not like going above and beyond. I'm not maybe working as hard, but when my back's against the wall and I'm motivated and I have to survive, and that's kind of how GlideFast was really built, was just like, we have to survive. We have to be successful for our customers, or we can't make payroll. We have to do these. We have to go above and beyond. We have to make that extra phone call. We have to spend that extra hour double checking our code. We have to,
Mm.
so because that's like been ingrained in us for so long since day one, that's always been who we are, part of my DNA. That's the best way to sum it up. Like, in 2020, I just remember, like, I was bald at some point during 2020. I was bald. The lockdowns just happened. I think the month of April was the worst. A lot of customers across the board just put a pause on things because they just didn't know what was going on. Before even people started really shifting to remote work, it was just like, it felt like everyone just stopped
Sure.
working and everything. The revenue like dropped. And I just remember, like, just get your stuff together, shake it off, stop, don't cry about it, and just get to work. And that's what I did. I mean, I couldn't travel because I had cancer, but nobody else could either. None of my competitors could. No customers were going out of the house anyways. So I just got on LinkedIn. I started, messaging tons of customers, tons of ServiceNow reps, taking as many meetings as I could, and it worked out. Like, and then all of a sudden, when people like woke up out of that April coma and just like, we just shipped out 2,500 laptops to different employees. We didn't track any of them. We need to get that into ServiceNow. That's when, like, ServiceNow, the market started getting crazy, taking off again. And, GlideFast was right there.
Yeah.
And, ServiceNow reps were like, "Oh, Lombardo just messaged me. Let me ask him if he can do this project." To customers, hey, we have this need coming up. Can you help us with this? So, I remember that day almost like it was yesterday, of me just saying, just don't feel bad for yourself. Shut up, get back to work, do what you've always done. You'll get through it. And that's the mentality I try to have all the time. I try to teach my kids too.
Okay. You just dropped a few bombs. Let me do a little summary.
Yeah.
2020, 4 years ago, pandemic hits. You get
Yeah.
diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, right
Business starts
before that,
right
actually.
before
20,
that.
yeah, Thanksgiving 2019, on the day I get diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Thanksgiving
Stage,
Day. Yeah.
and so for folks who don't know anything about the staging of
Yeah.
cancer, stage 4
Yeah.
is the most aggressive
Worst.
staging.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, 2019, that November, come into
Yep.
January, a few months later, we go into pandemic, COVID lockdown happens, business drops. We're now in
Yep.
2020. You're
Yep.
you're on LinkedIn. You're like, well, what do I have access to? I have LinkedIn. I can message people. We got to keep this business going. We about that Ubuntu life.
Hmm.
You come out of 2020. Next thing you know, you build the business back up. You get into a partnership with Apex in 2021, a year later.
Yeah.
That relationship turned out to be, I don't know, but I may, correct me if I'm wrong, perhaps the most lucrative uh, acquisition in the ecosystem, at least at that time. You could have
Yes.
been
I don't
like,
know the term. I don't know the exact terms of the new one that just got announced yet, but
okay,
I hear it might be more, it might be a little less. So
okay, we'll
I don't
say
know. We'll see.
for at that time.
Yeah. At the
And
time. Largest
And
acquisition. Yep. Yep.
largest acquisition. And y'all, get on your Googler because I did some research and I was like, what? And you still here?
Yeah.
What did that feel like for you? Why are
Yeah.
you still here?
Yeah. I like, it's weird because, you think like we sold the company for, I'll just say it, 350 million, right? All didn't go to me, that we got private equity investment. They got a big piece, we sold to them in 2020, by the way. And I negotiated that deal from the hospital bed, by the way, too. It was the largest acquisition, crazy amount of money. But it wasn't like you would think like this would be the biggest celebration and like, this is it. This is the finish line. Again, for me, it wasn't the finish line. Like, I don't know. I was working the next day. Like I don't even think we went out that night. I don't even know. I gotta like look back to my calendar that day. Like I don't even think like it was just like, all right, now we have to make good on the word we gave to the people acquiring us. And we got a lot of work to do, and we've improved so much. I mean, we've improved our profitability, our top line, our culture has gotten a lot better. We brought in some great leaders with Ohad and Chad Woods. And I think our team has really embraced it. I think the best thing about our team is like, I think there was a little bit of like hesitancy of like, oh my God, here we go, another large acquisition. And I sat in front of the whole team and I gave my word, like, guys, I'm not leaving. This is not going to, and I did a whole presentation. Here's why this is different. Here's why this will be successful, and I think it's cool because you look at it a year and a half, 2 years later, everything I said kind of came true. Like, I didn't run off. Our culture got better. Our profitability got better. There's more bonuses. There's more ways to make money. We're having more fun. We're making more investments into ourselves and each other. I think that's what keeps people more excited too, is like, Mike actually did what he said he was going to do, and things actually worked out the way he said it would. But yeah, like, I don't know, wasn't really excited. I was telling you earlier, like, partied more. We were more excited when we won that ServiceNow Partner of the Year the first year. And I think it was 2022. That was the win. You know what I mean? Like, that was like, finally, we're getting recognized in the respect that we've always thought we deserved.
So you win. So then 2021, 2022, you win Partner of the Year. We then
Mhm.
go to 2023, last year.
Yep.
You repeat.
Yeah.
ServiceNow
Yep.
Elite Partner of the Year 2023
For Americas. Yeah.
for
So
the
we won.
Americas.
Yeah, we won global and we won global elite partner of the year for 22. We won America's elite partner of the year for 22. Then 23, we won America's elite partner of the year and customer workflows elite partner of the year. So it's like 4 awards in 2 years, never been done before. It was crazy, crazy.
How does the customer benefit from these accolades?
Well, the accolades are just a reflection of the work we're doing for them, right? ServiceNow's largest customer is our largest customer, right? We're the number one partner into that largest customer. We're working on the largest project ServiceNow has, the biggest challenges, the most difficult project. And by the way, that's how GlideFast started. When we started really getting, when GlideFast was established, the first projects we were getting were subcontracts from ServiceNow on projects that were not going well. We had Mia, Top, Aaron, myself, right? Others, like, getting calls from ServiceNow professional services, like, hey, this project's on fire. I don't know if you guys want it. We're like, give it to us. We'll do whatever we can. We're committed. We'll make it right. And once we started turning around some of those really difficult projects, then it was like, then we created raving fans, like calling. You ever see a Pulp Fiction, Calling the Wolf?
Yeah.
Like that's what we gained a reputation of, and then it just started multiplying from there.
Last year, you landed footprint now in the UK. Talk about what's in store as you expand overseas.
Yeah. Yeah, we have such a phenomenal leader, Adam Godfrey over
Adam
there.
Godfrey.
He's a savage. We just dropped a podcast, a glide chat on our YouTube and Spotify if you want to check it out. We talk about a marathon he ran in the Sahara Desert. I think it was like 120-degree temperatures.
Oh my
And it's not
goodness.
just a marathon, it's a marathon every day for 3 days. And on the last day, it's a double marathon. So what's that? It's over 100 miles, in 4 days or 3 days in the Sahara Desert. He's crazy.
Yes, that's wild.
Yeah, it's like too much. I wish he just did like one or two marathons like in the cold or something. I don't know. But he's just got this incredible work ethic. He has so many connections over there, customers, ServiceNow. Just like when we went to India, people have been asking for GlideFast in EMEA for years. When are you going to bring that quality of delivery? When are you going to bring that excitement? When are you going to bring the fun and the hustle into the EMEA market? Because again, it's needed, right? What's the motivations of other partners? Just money. We're not driven by money. We're driven by results. We're driven by passion. We're driven by our will to dominate this space. So that's what's in store. What's in store is we're going to do the same thing we did in the US. We're going to dominate the market. I'm very patient. I'm very big on timing.
Yeah.
I never want to, I take people's careers very serious, so I never want to like make a move somewhere and it's like, oh, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like if we're going somewhere, if we're going to India, if we're going to EMEA, we're going to dominate. It's going to work. We're going to have the business. We're going to have the right consultants, and we're going to win. And then we're going to take it over. You start with one or two wins. You start being consistent. You start delivering. You start building the right team, and then you dominate.
All right. So you heard it here. Plans to take over EMEA. Got it? Heard it? Okay. So we have a lot of folks that are entering the ServiceNow
Yes.
ecosystem right now, today as we
Yep.
speak. And we also know that you have GlideFast Consulting University. Curious from you, if you were starting the ServiceNow ecosystem today,
Yes.
what would you do to chart your success and land your first ServiceNow role?
Yeah. First of all, I did start. I was a help desk guy and working at a hospital, and they bought ServiceNow, and they asked me if I want to be the admin, and I didn't really know what that meant, but I said yes. So I think the first thing is saying yes. The second thing, saying yes to the right opportunities, because we're presented with opportunities every single day, and it's about saying no to the wrong opportunities and yes to the right ones. So that's first and foremost. Second is the work. I wasn't a developer by trade. I had built some websites. I was building websites for some local businesses. I was actually fun fact. I was actually creating websites for different restaurants around the hospital I worked at, and I was only asking for compensation with lunch and breakfast. So I had one place that I did a website for that were paying me in breakfast sandwiches. I had one place that was giving me lunch. So I never paid for breakfast or lunch, but I didn't charge them for the website. So it was cool. But the work ethic. So, from that day I got that admin role, my life completely changed. I became completely obsessed with ServiceNow. I was lucky. I had a great friend, SV, shout out SV. My friend Steven, who we both he taught me how to build websites actually. And then I got him involved in the ServiceNow world, and just, 24 hours a day. I mean, I literally mean 24 hours a day. We were trying to learn this thing called ServiceNow. We did not have next gen, we didn't have GlideFast University. There wasn't, we had Chuck Tomasi, we had Jace, we had a wiki. We didn't have the doc site. We didn't have nearly as much content as you do now. And ServiceNow wasn't as sophisticated either, right? It was early on, 2010, 2011. But it took such dedication in late nights, in a lot of work to really get to the level where you can, be confident, and understand the platform and know what you're doing and make sure you're following best practices. And so if you're not ready to put in those hours, you're not going to get anywhere. That's just a reality.
Sure. I'm
Yeah.
going to do a little summary. I heard you say
Yeah.
that you started at a service desk.
Yep.
You said say yes to the right opportunities and know when to say no to the wrong ones. You
Yes. That's in
talked,
life too. Yep.
and that's in life, sure.
Yep.
You talked about an insane work ethic, and then finally piggybacking off of that is dedication, being committed to doing those late nights. So I appreciate that. So listen, I want to end this with some rapid
Yeah.
fire questions if you're down for
Uh-oh.
that.
Okay. All right.
You ready for some rapid fire?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Bear or bull?
Bull.
Permission or forgiveness?
Neither.
Explain.
I don't like asking for either.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Oh gosh. Okay. If you could travel to any period in time, past or future, where would you go?
I was going to say neither as well.
You like the here and now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to look back too much, and I don't know if I want to know what's in the future either. Yeah. I'm just, yeah, present.
Got it.
Present.
Got it.
My
Got it.
mother always told me stay in the present.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I could have any superpower. I like helping people, right? So I've always wanted to help as many people as I could. So if I could be like a superhero, like like I wish, like super strength, fly, all that.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably want to fly. I'll
You
just
want to fly? Where would you go?
I was just like not have to ever get on a plane again.
That's fair.
If
That's
I never
fair.
think about it, you don't have to fly. Be great.
I love that. Okay, what's your favorite dance?
Well, my kids are really into dance. So I love their dance. My youngest, my 6-year-old, does a recital literally every night, and literally makes us tickets, makes a QR code on the ticket, and like pretends to scan it, and like literally. So I love my kids' dances.
Right on, right on. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla.
What's your favorite karaoke song?
Thunder, that sang by Aaron Johnson.
LinkedIn or IG?
LinkedIn, 1,000 times.
No doubt, right? Who's your favorite superhero?
Superman's coming to mind, but there's probably
That's because of Shaq
yeah,
and the Lakers. Uh-huh.
yeah. I like Shaq too. Yeah, I'll go with Superman.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Yep. What kind of hobbies do you have?
I love snowboarding. Snowmobiling's probably my number one. I love water skiing. I love jet skiing. I love being on the boat. I love work. Work's a big hobby for me. I love hiking too. I like I
Did
like out, I like outside stuff. Getting anything I can do to get off the computer and laptop, because that's what I do so much. So anything I can do to get outside, get out off the computer.
did you pick up a hobby during the pandemic?
I think the jet skiing and the snowmobiling really, because again, it's like we went up to New Hampshire where like you could leave your house without being arrested. And again, like being like kind of being part of the nature and stuff and being outside.
What one word do you want associated with you?
Loyal.
Loyal. I love that. Okay, final question. Lakers or Celtics?
You know the answer to that.
Mike Lombardo, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here for your 2024 predictions now, and I hope to see you back before the next quarter so we can see how this year is evolving.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all you do for the ServiceNow community and so many people in the ServiceNow space.
100%. I'll see you next time. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So you heard it there from the mayor. Q1 in 2024. Don't go nowhere. You know what's coming up a little bit later this month? I'm going to be joined by Senior Vice President of Training, Alex Darby, on January 30th. Imagine you get the brand new ServiceNow implementation. Now what to do? Does it just stay up on the shelf as shelfware, or how do you enable your team for adoption? We're going to have Alex Darby to talk about all that and how perhaps he can help your team with better adoption. So I can't wait for this one. He's one of my favorite people in the ServiceNow ecosystem, and there is so much more to come. But until then, stay kind, be curious. Bye.